Hello, friends. Steve here. And on my YouTube channel, I wrote a post today kind of describing the process that I've been in related to really 17 months of conscious detoxing. So I've been going through a process over the past 17 months to stimulate my body to detox chemicals from living in the world and other things and unresolved things, getting my liver cleared up, um, and just getting all my organs to function at a higher level. Primarily because if I live, you know, another 10 or 20 years, I want to be conscious, I want to be mentally alert, and I want to be physically not in pain. Now, I haven't been in pain, good structure. I've kept it working well physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually to the best of my ability. And 17 months ago, I had, or even longer, I started that. So I'm going to count back. So I started it in May. So this is January, the end, towards the end. So February, March, April, May. So probably 21 months ago, I initiated this detox process through Epsom salts baths. And I was in it for about May, so June, July, mid August, it kicked in and my body just started to dump. And I kept thinking after 6 months that it would, you know, be better. I thought by December that would be, plenty of time. So September, October, November, December. So I thought 4 months. That's a good length of time to just be detoxing continuously and feeling like crap. And then it continued and it continued and it continued. And around September of 2024, it had been 13 months. And I thought, wow. And then I got a break, and I'd say for a few weeks where I just didn't have any detoxing going on, and then it kicked back in again. And I've since gotten an infrared sauna because I had a really strong intuition that dry, deep penetrating heat would assist my body to just keep the process moving, keep it coming out of my skin. That's probably all you need to know. It's going well. I'm in and out of kind of lucid states where I'm in states where my mind is working very well. I'm in states where I'm just working with a lot energetically. Hence, the feeling like it would be useful for me to just step way back on the videos, which are time consuming to make and then upload, and it's slow uploading and blah, blah, blah. But I'm continuing to set up fields within the world healing field. So they are world healing fields, but they're specific kind of to the day. I mean, if you do them a few days later, you'll still go back to that event of that day and you'll clear energy. So in my post today, I wrote the words of that process of connecting to your deep self, connecting to your higher self, your highest self, grounding to the healing center of the earth, opening to the healing power of the one, letting go of anything no longer useful to you, and connecting to the seventh dimensional beings, the Hathors, in case you want support in what you're doing. In my own process, I would say, I would say yesterday, I did a process with a good friend of mine and went back into some ancestral energetics on both of our parts. So I worked with some energies of my ancestral energetics that were coming to the surface to be cleared, and her ancestral energies that were coming to the surface to be cleared. And I went into a very good place where I remained very conscious as a person while I was working with these very intense energies that were releasing. It was the best I felt like I'd ever done that with these really big energies and not being mildly activated by them. Big releases took place. And then today, I went back with the support of my life partner, just holding space for me. I went back to my childhood events and was able to walk through the events with that young part of me. This is something I'm kind of learning to do through the Ancestral Healing Codes course I'm taking with Thomas Hubel. So I was able to walk through in the consciousness of the child that was traumatized while maintaining the consciousness that I have now. I was able to walk with that child and support that child and begin to understand that child's trauma, and then was able to help that child release that trauma from multiple events. And while doing it, I felt very compassionate towards that aspect of myself who survived what that aspect of myself survived. And I really realized what an amazing person that was to survive what all it survived. And it really isn't important for me to describe the details of what I helped that part of myself release from multiple events. So I'm going to say 4 or 5 different events. I've done work with this part of myself, but not in this way, not in this consciousness. So the release of this intense energy felt to me to be pretty efficient. Something new. Wasn't this drawn out wah 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 stuff, but was like a number of these big energies come up and just released. Afterwards, leaving me feeling kind of amazing. So going from not feeling well at all to within a few hours feeling quite amazing was, let's just use the word amazing again, was an amazing experience for me. It was like, wow, this is a progression of the work. And I feel like my work progressed yesterday, and then it progressed this morning, and I feel like my lucidity, my awareness in terms of conversation with others has expanded. I feel like my awareness of the world has greatly expanded, but my reactivity to the world has diminished greatly. So the world now really is a world that I can hold in my hands, at least currently. I could just hold it in my hands. And currently, and I think we need to speak from this place, currently, it none of it seems too big for me. So whatever that I got back from the parts of myself that were traumatized and isolated from me, because these traumas, in order to not have them just in your face all the time, they have to be contained and put away. But when it's time for them to come back, and the indication of them coming back is that for me, I felt very anxious, like, oh, whoa, whoa. But because of my training, I was able to go in and do a process where I just went into my breath and I calmed my nerve system down with a form of breathing that helps to do that. Just double the time of your exhale to your inhale, and that calms the nerve system down. I was able to get the nerve system into a very calm place, and I was able to be present with myself who was emerging from the trauma. I think that this is available to any of us who have been doing this work, who have worked with the physical body, who have worked with the emotional body, who have worked with the mental body, who have worked with the spiritual body, that we've done this work over a period of time. I think it's quite possible for us to practice, and maybe practice in smaller things, this process of remaining the adult that we've become while we're experiencing the child or teenager or 20 something, 30, whatever, while experiencing that part of us that is coming out of storage with a lot of energy held in its little self. And by remaining current age and conscious and aware that this is an aspect of our greater self who is ready to come out, and we're in a place to let it come out. And so it can be it was for me, a very gentle process of just slowly opening up that memory energy, and then realizing the pain that that part of me was in multiple situations, how much pain that little self was able to contain and hide out in it and leave me to semi-function in the world. But that little self had lots of power to survive those experiences, where it lived through them and allowed me to kind of do what I could do through the next trauma, and then that locked up. So I went through not only multiple traumas of the child, but multiple levels of age of that self. So very young, 7-year-old, having these experiences, these traumas. I'll give you just maybe one or two examples. Um, I had an allergic reaction to penicillin, is what they said that I had, and my eyes swole shut, my mouth almost closed, my whole body swole up, and I ended up just being left on a couch in our living room for a month, just being lifted and carried, 7 or so, just being lifted and carried to use the bathroom, and then carried back and put back on the couch. And during that time, there were a number of visits from a medical doctor, but there was nothing that was done in my memory to make anything easier. I was, I could hear the conversations that the doctor would have with my parents, and the doctor would say, he's either going to make it or he's not. Obviously, I made it. That was one of the events that I cleared the energy of today. And then there was a number of others. One of them being the energy of overachieving in chiropractic college and feeling like I had to do everything perfectly. And I came into the perfect storm where I had final examinations within 1 week period of time. I had final examinations for that term. I had national board examinations, which passing would allow me to get a license in a number of states, and entrance examinations to play doctor in the chiropractic arena, in the clinic that was at the school. And I got very low in terms of life force, and then I got sick. And I got systemically ill. I had to drop out of school and spend 3 months in energetic recovery to get back to a place where I could actually finish up my last year of school. And then one other time, very similar pattern, overdoing. I was going through a divorce in 2001. I was going through that emotional process. I was teaching chiropractic courses on biogeometric integration, which I had helped create with Dr. Sue Brown in Chicago. So we had created this new process in chiropractic, and there were 3 of us who were knowledgeable enough to teach it. And so in the last year of my teaching partner had to drop out. He had some family things that came up. He couldn't travel anymore. He had to drop out, leaving us 2 people to do the work of probably 5 people. I mean, the 3 of us were doing the work of 5, and so now we're down to 2 doing the work of 5. And I pulled it off at great cost to myself. Again, taking my own life force down to a candle flicker before I had to quit. I just couldn't do it anymore, so I had to quit. And 20 people took my position. I mean, they were also chiropractors, who had their own practices like I did. But 20 of them were able to travel the amount I was traveling as an individual in the last 9 months. It was beyond comprehension, and it took me 2 years to get the life force back from that experience. So, here I am once again working with the very, very similar energetics where I had a belief, a feeling, and a belief. If I didn't do all that I was doing, the ascension process wouldn't happen. So the whole world was relying on me to lead the release and integration of the disturbance of the planet. And in the last 2.5 months of the process, be making multiple healing videos a day with the belief that if I didn't do this, the whole thing could collapse. Now, that was part of what cleared today. So here I am making a video that I said I wouldn't be making. But I'm making it from that place of having the energy to do it and being in the flow with the universal energy. So this is the right thing for me to be doing, not something my beliefs are forcing me to do. Otherwise, the universe is going to implode and collapse and we're all going to be destroyed. But that was Atlantis. That was another time, another place, or Lemuria before that. And who knows? So I'm going to need to plug in. Hopefully this will all work okay. So the battery was low. Metaphor. Battery's low. System shuts down. Battery needs to be recharged. I'm in the process of recharging the battery, and I'm going to be very conscious about everything, even more conscious. I was fairly conscious before. I'm going to be more conscious with everything I do because I would like to make it to the 24th of March of 2025, which is getting down. I mean, today is like the 21st. So we're 3 days away from it being 2 months to go. So from January to February to March, 24th is only 2 months and 3 days. So I plan on being on cruise control. I plan on utilizing these new resources, how to hold a space for my own process to heal those parts of myself that weren't finished having their experiences completely resolved and integrated. So, go back and read my post. It's in the community section on my YouTube channel, Observational Healing, or you can put in Stephen McLean and it isn't the guitar maker. But observational healing should get you there. But observational healing may also link you up to Brian Truskowski's. He did some interviews with me back a couple years ago. So that's not my channel. My channel is Observational Healing. So you can find it. If you have a problem, give me a comment on this and I'll send you a link to it so you can just go directly and see what I have there. And in the community page, I've written a description of how to connect up with the healing field in case I'm not making these videos. And I'll make them if it's the right thing to do, but I'm just the belief that the world's going to collapse if I don't is gone. So, I mean, the world may or may not collapse. We just don't know. But we have a purpose here on a soul level in terms of what we're attempting to experience on a soul level. And we all want to experience as much of that as we can while we're here. So we're doing that. But it's not to sacrifice the body, the mind, the emotions, or the spirit in trying to save the world. The world doesn't need to be saved. The world is changing, shifting, and it's going through this process, and there's none of us that can stop it, and there's none of us that can force it, and there's none of us that can save any of us. But all of us can help each of us individually to change and heal and grow, and all of our changing, healing, and growing affects all of us. And the more we begin to feel this sense of community with each other, the more our healing work affects each of us. And so that's my purpose, my sole purpose in life, is just to help anyone who comes into my field of relationship to heal. And I'm doing what I need to do, but I'm not doing the things I don't need to do, which is saving the world. So with that, I say good night, safe healing, and I look forward to the next time I get the opportunity to share with you. All right, now must change.